Are you looking for a home in the Space Coast area for under $350,000 with incentives? Well, if so,
make sure you stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss this one.
In Aria.
Before we go inside, if you guys are ever interested in learning more, click the link in my bio to take you to my link tree. You can choose hop on a quick call or meet with me if you'd rather meet face to face. Just pick customized buyer's guides, pick a time and date, and answer the questionnaire, and this will help ensure that I dedicate and give you guys my undivided attention. So, with that being said, let's get back to the house and let's take a look.
welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, my name is Dylan Concepcion, your trusted Central Florida real estate advisor, and today we are back in Titusville, Florida, checking out our builder's Aria Model. It is a 3-2, just above 1,600 square feet. But before we take a look at anything inside the home, we're going to talk about location first, and if you're familiar with location, perfect. There will be a timestamp on the screen and in the description to skip directly towards our home tour. And make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because we're going to be going over our incentives, our HOA, and our loan options. So you're not going to want to miss out. With that being said, let's talk about location.
Taking a look at Central Florida, we'll have Titusville's boundaries outlined, and the great thing about the coastal cities is we're going to have so much surrounding us. Heading north on I-95, we'll pass New Smyrna to get to Daytona Beach, being only 52 minutes away. Home to Buc-ee's, the world's biggest gas stations, and the Daytona 500. Heading south on I-95 takes us to Melbourne, home of the Brevard Zoo. Only 53 minutes away, we'll be passing through areas like Merritt Island, Cape Canaveral, Cocoa, and Satellite Beach. Our next stop is Orlando, home to Mickey Mouse and Disney World. Along with other great theme parks, Orlando also houses professional sports teams such as the Magic, Orlando City, and the Solar Bears. Also home to MCO, Orlando's very own international airport, and at only 48 minutes away, Titusville has so much to offer within only an hour. On the opposite side of us is going to be Tampa Bay. Tampa is only 2 hours and 15 minutes away, and they are home to many professional sports teams, including the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Rays. Also home to Busch Gardens for any of my theme park lovers out there. And now let's talk about what's close to us locally. On the pin drop will be our community, and just up the road is going to be one of my favorite spots in Titusville, Dixie Crossroad, along with one of our grocery locations, only 6 to 10 minutes away. And on the other side of us is going to be another grocery location, complete with a Super Walmart, Aldi's, and Target, only 8 minutes away. And now that we've talked about what's around us, let's get into the home.
Welcome back everyone. Without further ado, let's take a look inside. Okay, stepping in, we're gonna see our foyer. We're gonna have our gray colored 16 by 16 inch tiles throughout the home, everywhere but the bedrooms. Now to the left of me, you'll see some wires hanging out the wall. This is an inventory home we're walking through, so this is in its final stages, being ready to be sold. So we're gonna be walking through a blank canvas today. To the left of me is going to be our first 2 bedrooms and bathroom. This is a split floor plan, so we're gonna have our first 2 here and our master on the other side. That being said, let's take a look. Leaving our first 2 bedrooms and bathroom, we continue down the foyer, and to the right of me is going to be our 2-car garage behind this door and our laundry room and AC closet. So let's take a look. our utility spaces and continuing down the foyer, we'll step into what is going to be our kitchen and our living space and dining space. So with that being said, let's take a look. Stepping into our kitchen, there are a few things I want to make notice of, starting off with these granite countertops, which I love, and the white cabinetry. If you'll also notice, we are going to have all of our Whirlpool appliances, and to the left of me is going to be our deep pantry. Now it is pretty deep, and I'll show you guys a magic trick. Open the door as I close it. As you guys can see, it's a deep pantry. It goes in deep, and we'll have some better clips here. Following me this way through the kitchen, you'll see what we don't get in this home is going to be our slow close. But what we do get in the home is going to be our ventilation / hood, not just empty cabinet space. And what this does, if you don't know, is it takes all the smoke and all the grease and nastiness that we get from cooking, pushes it and filters it directly through our roof. As you guys can see, no soft close, but that's okay. Inexpensive things that we can add after closing. Following me this way, just behind me, is going to be our dining room and our lanai, which we will be taking a look at. And to the left of me is going to be our master bedroom, which we'll take a look at after dining and lanai. So with that being said, let's take a look. Stepping back in from the lanai and following me just this way, we will reach our final stop of the day, which is going to be our primary suite, which is just behind me. So with that being said, let's take a look. And that concludes our home tour for the day. Now all that's left is I send you guys over to Coach C to get your numbers, and I'll catch y'all back for the outro. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for stopping by my class. We're gonna jump straight into it today. Starting off with our incentives. Our community is currently offering $8,000 towards your closing costs, as well as a rate buy down included. So you're going to get $8,000 in flex funds, as well as a rate buy down, lowering your interest rate a few points for the first few years of your loan, saving you hundreds of dollars over the course of those few years. We're gonna move on into our community info now, starting off with our home value that clocks in at right at $340,000. A nice affordable price range for our home. Our HOA is going to only be $70 a month, and there's no CDD in this community. Now let's jump into our loan options. Now guys, before I start, keep in mind, I am not a lender. All the numbers I bring to you guys are just estimates and basic math, so you guys have an idea of where to start. So these numbers are for educational purposes only. I don't want you guys attacking any sales rep saying, oh, but you know, Coach C said. Again, guys, just estimates for educational purposes only. And now, jumping into our first loan of the day, FHA over liable, coming in at 3.5% down, giving us a down payment of $11,900 with a credit score of 580 to qualify. Jumping forward, we're gonna walk into our conventional, and the most common down payments we see is gonna be 3%, 5%, and 10%. And at 3%, we're gonna be looking at $10,200. At 5%, $17,000. And at 10%, $34,000 with a credit score of 620 to qualify. Now I'm frequently asked, Coach C, what's the difference between FHA and conventional? If I could pay 3%, why would I pay 3.5%? Well, it's super simple. The main differences between FHA and conventional is going to be our primary mortgage insurance, our PMI. Now on FHA, PMI is going to be locked in for the entire duration of the loan, whereas with conventional, once you have 20% equity in the home, you're able to actually get your PMI removed. And PMI is going to be an additional $100 to a few $100 extra a month on top of your mortgage. In terms of affordability, when you go conventional and you have that 20% equity, you're able to save a good amount of money over the duration of your loan versus FHA. But don't worry guys, if you go FHA and you want to get rid of PMI, you are able to refinance into a conventional loan and get out of FHA so you can get rid of that PMI. Quick little tips for you guys. Jumping forward, we're going to step into our final loan of the day, which is going to be our VA loan. Shout out to all my veterans out there. We appreciate you guys and all you do. The VA appreciates y'all so much. They actually hook it up with a 100% financing loan. That is a big whopping 0% down on the loan, leaving my veterans responsible to only pay their closing costs. And speaking of which, moving on into our final segment of the day is going to be our closing costs. Something none of us are too fond of, but I calculated at 4% rule of thumb, which is actually going to be $13,600 for your closing costs. Don't worry guys, I usually overestimate on my closing costs, so when you guys get to the table, it is a little bit less. So keep in mind, I go at 4% rule of thumb, so $13,600 for our closing costs. And that is our final segment of the day. Thank you again, everybody, for stopping by, and back to you, Dylan. Thank you, Coach C. We appreciate you as always. And as you guys can see, we are back in the kitchen. As a final recap today, we were in Titusville, Florida, once again, checking out our builder's Aria Model. It is a 3-2, just above 1,700 square feet. And if you haven't heard me say it yet, my name is Dylan Concepcion, your trusted Central Florida real estate advisor. And I go all over Central Florida touring new construction communities and homes so you guys don't have to. So if you have found any value in my content, today's video or my previous content, feel free to drop a like and subscribe because it is free and it helps the channel go a long way, but it also keeps you guys in the loop so you aren't missing any opportunities similar to this one. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.